Welcome back to We Don't Drive Stock. Today we're down at Ignite Performance in Wales to get a fairly unknown suspension system fitted into my BMW M140. So stay tuned and let's get it.
Right, so this is Owen from Ignite Performance.
Hello.
It's a HSD suspension system from Driftworks. So I just wanted you to have a quick look at it, tell me what you think of it, bro, to be honest.
Okay, let's see. I mean, you know, they're not the most expensive coilover on the market, are they? But considering they look real good, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Driftworks do drifting cars.
Yeah, you tend to see these on stuff like that, like on the old E46 3 series and stuff. Typically with coilovers, the adjuster cups tend to be this sort of depth. But these, did you say these were like 60 mil to 175 mil?
Yeah.
That's incredible adjustment, so we can fine tune this pretty well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm sure we'll find a spot where we're going to get it sitting pretty sweet, so
Yeah.
we'll see now. At the moment, because you've got the M adaptive suspension, when you put your car into sport, the dampers stiffen up. Like James's 240i doesn't have that, so when we bought coilovers for that, we didn't have to buy no adapters, we could just bolt them on. These coilovers haven't got the adapter for that, so that function isn't retained now. When you put it into sport with these on, nothing will change stiffness wise, so that's the only downside really.
Providing I have it set up how I want it set up, it should be fine.
Yeah, of course. You just won't be able to, obviously these are dampening adjustable anyway, but remote from the outside of the car. So if you wanted to soften or stiffen the car, you'd have to go out and just turn these dials on the top of the coilovers as opposed to press a button inside the car.
Okay, alright, that's all.
Okay. So we start off by removing the drop link now, which we will be fitting the uprated ones that comes with the new one. Once I've undone the drop link, I have already undone the one, but I'll undo these adaptive suspension lines, and again I'll tuck them out of the way because they don't apply to us anymore. And then I will undo on the other side, I will undo the tracker end to give us more depth to be able to get the hub down further, and undo this arm again just so that it can come down far enough. Undo the pinch bolt finally, and yeah, we just get the hub down then. So the leg is free, remove the top mount, and that's us. They are the lines off, and I'll have to tuck them. I put them up in the arch liner on the other side there, just ran them down into the arch here, just make sure they don't catch anything. So that if ever you wanted to re-enable it or revert it to stock, you can do, which I don't doubt you ever plan on doing.
Never.
Do you know why? Because we don't drive stock.
Don't drive stock, baby.
A minute. It always pays to wire brush and WD-40 anything before you do anything with dirt or rust on it, you know. You would be surprised at the difference it makes. You need these to go as smoothly as possible anyway, because they can cause you trouble. So with a bit of pressure on that arm, that comes straight out. Now I've put the transmission stand underneath here to just put pressure up on the tapered part of the ball joint in the tracker end so that it doesn't spin inside the hub, because it sometimes, especially when these cars get a bit older, this one's pretty good, mind, it does turn in the hub so the nut just spins. So with a fair bit of pressure on it, it will just undo. Now, finally, now that I've got this arm out and this tracker end off, this hub is all nice and free and will come down as far as I need it to. So I'll just get the transmission stand ready to undo the pinch bolt, put a hub splitter in the gap on the back of the hub, and I can drop the hub down there and our leg is free. So this is the pinch bolt that just pinches the gap in the back of the hub. And batteries playing up on this. There we go. That just pinches the gap in the back of the hub. There's a little slit in the back of it, which then puts pressure on the leg so that it can't fall down. Now we should be free. now we're just going to take our hub splitter and put it in the gap in the back of the hub, which isn't going to be easy to film, but you can see where you need to. And that hopefully has opened our hub out enough. Now, important thing to remember is that this side on these, there is a headlight level sensor here, this rod. So if this arm comes down far, you can break that. So you should always unclip that so that it doesn't. I'm gonna need a pick for that, I'd imagine. They aren't always the easiest things to undo. Yeah, these are a bit of a pain normally. There we go, that's undone. So that headlight level sensor now is free, just because they do break. You can't think you'll get away with it, like. Then we put our persuader on the one remaining arm and pull. There we go. There, the hub now is starting to come down off the leg. Okay, that's our hub down far enough now. That kept away from the brake caliper is the hub rest is. It looks like quite a mess in it when you've got it all like that, doesn't it? The key thing is not to put any pressure on these, hence why I put this, just rest this disc on the transmission stand. Everything is in its natural place, nothing's being stressed, you know. There's a rubber piece here which just pulls up and off. Then you've got 5 13mm bolts and the strut brace bolt holding the top mount on. So there's the strut brace bolt, which is a bit over the top, but you know BMW. 13mm bolts. Leave the one bolt there. Now I shall grab with one arm the leg and do the final bolt with the other. And voila, suspension leg. Luckily, these springs are quite short as standard on these BMWs, so you only need to grab 2 coils. And that will take enough tension off to remove your top mount. Slip this boot up. Hasn't got to be tight, but you can just grab that with the mole grips. 18mm on the top mount. And off it comes. Now, as soon as you can, you want to release tension off this, because that is a grenade. And that's our standard leg back out. Now I'll go and get a HSD leg and we'll show the reversal. Okay, so we've got our HSD leg now. There are 14 different damper settings on this leg, and we're going to start off by trialing 7 halfway. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's our damper rebound settings now, right in the middle, which is a good place to start to test it, isn't it? Now, I'm just going to raise the height of this a little, just so that it's easy. Or lower the height of this, sorry. Just so that this is out of our way, so we can get the top mount nut on easily. Now, That goes on there, supplied the piece. That goes down on here and seats there nicely. Supplied their own nut. I'm going to need to start this. Take my 18 just to make sure that started nicely. Then, ever so gently, just put a little bite on that, nothing much, just not going to leave a mark. Just give that a tweak like so. And that is this one fitted. Now I will just dial this into the same height that I chose on the other side so that I'll match the height, and then we'll get this refitted. On the Volkswagens, like Polos and stuff, you've just got 3 bolts, no locating dowels and stuff, so you're there just trying to find where it goes for ages. On these, you've got 2 dowels and you know that's where the strut brace goes. So when you pop it up in, it's so easy to locate this. It's just helpful. So, we'll guide this up into place now. Pop it straight into where it's supposed to go. And start 2 bolts. So that's that done up. Now, always with strap tops, you should do them up to a certain tightness when the car's in the air. Then when you put the car back on its wheels later, you should always re-torque them, because the pressure of everything being pushed up into the strut top always just puts a little bit of slackness on the bolts. So you should always do those twice. Now, on our coilover, I just like to put a bit of grease all around this part here where it locates into the hub, because it just saves you stress basically. They are always tight, as we mentioned before. So I just like to put a coating on that, and then note that the locating tab goes into the back of the hub there. So you want to put it somewhere near right now, and then guide this into the correct sort of location, which is always a bit of a struggle, but we get there. Then I will put the arms back in on the tracker end, do the nuts up, then press or push with the transmission stand the bottom of this here, this inner arm, to push the hub back up to that line and do the pinch bolt up. And then we won't film all of the refitting because it's literally a reversal of how I undone everything. And then once I'm happy with everything, I will double check my height, and I will use a C-spanner supplied to lock these locking nuts. So, we begin with stripping the rears now. I have already undone the top mount nuts. That's the first thing I did. I undone the bolts. Then unplug the adaptive line again on this side. Again, obviously we haven't got adaptive coilovers, so that will just be redundant now. We'll tuck it up somewhere safe. Yeah, so I'll begin with stripping it now. The first thing we're going to do is get my little gun here. 410mm hold this plastic guard on. Get this out of the way. Next, I will unbolt the 18mm on the shock absorber. Remove that bolt. So that shock is sat there loose now. Then we've got an E20 female Torx and a 21mm spanner. to undo this. Now this is the bolt that holds the trailing arm on. And before we remove that bolt, you want to support this arm because it'll spring down with a lot of force because of the compression of the spring on it. And just put that under there like so, just so that it can't go anywhere. And we'll demonstrate why now. So if I use a spanner to put pressure on this bolt, as you can see, there's a bit of pressure on that, and if that wasn't under there, that would have bounced down hard. So we've got original spring out with the standard top and bottom mounts left on it because we got new ones with our coilovers. Then a bit more of an awkward part. There we go. Just being careful to watch the paint on the arch as you take these out. And that's the stock spring and damper out. Plastic cover to stop corrosion inside the original top mount. Pop the original bump stop down. Little bite of that shock again. Stock top mount off. Now, with the new one, they supply their own nut again. And inside here, this coilover has its own bump stop too. So we don't need that. Some applications on different cars you do, but not with this. So that goes directly on there, using their own nut. Again, gentle little bite on the new one, not to leave any marks. Give that a nip. Cover back on, which is a little bit awkward on these. So I just use, there we go, and that's the top mount swapped onto the coilover. And now we'll get them refitted. We discovered that on these coilovers, the front dampers have 14 levels of adjustment. So as I said earlier, we're going to start on 7. Medium, happy medium is just how we test it, innit? Because obviously you can make your own tweaks based on your driving afterwards, can't you? That's the beauty of the dampening adjustment. And obviously if you were to go on track and stuff, then you could nip it up, same as Dane and James does. The back has actually got 17, so 3 clicks more. So I've just put it on 9 again, somewhere medium. There's more adjustment in the rears. For why, I can't really tell you. It may be because of how heavy all of the weight of the diff and axle is and everything on the back of these, obviously with it being rear wheel drive. But yeah, we've selected medium, sort of front and rear, so we'll just see how it goes for now to test. So that's that. Now, the more awkward part, because aligning the bolts up on these can be a bit of a meh. Spring in first. So this will go down in here with the new on the bottom of it. It's got its own rubber mount. And that, again, it's also got its own top mount as well. That fits in there. Now these go this way around so that it would fit upside down, but you wouldn't be able to get, because that's a bowl, you won't be able to adjust it so easy. So we put it this way around so we can get in here to adjust it afterwards. So that's sat in there nicely now. And now we'll put the damper in. Just watching the paint on the arch again. And offer it up in there then. That is where that will sit. Just start these by hand. On these 1 and 2 series, these 3 bolts that hold the top mount on the rear have to be started by hand. It's vital because they're so easy to round. They cross thread easily, as I've discovered in the past. It's just pays to just do this carefully. Now that can just sit there for now. Now, the awkward part of doing the rears, this is the hardest part of it. It just takes a bit of getting right. Is lining the holes up on the shock absorber and the hub that they go in the trailing arm properly. Now, you just do that up until that lines up. It helps to just sort of drive these bolts in. Right. There. And then, got that wrong. When this happens, I take this off and put him on its side. Because once it, like I said, once it's in the one side, doesn't mean it's going to come through the other side. So we put this on this side now to lift this a little bit, this trailing arm, just to get it to line up a little better. Okay. That's much better. Now that this stand is on the one side of the arm, it's allowed it to just push the one side up to get the end of the bolt out. So we'll just put a nut on that a second, but not do it up just in case. And now it's the turn of the shock absorber, which is already half lined up. Just pop my 18 on now. Same again. A little bit of persuasion and it's through to the other side. I'm just going to tie this up somewhere nicely out of the way so it doesn't catch anything, so obviously we can reuse it if we want to in the future. And then put the plastic cover on, pop the wheels on, and then it's off to you for testing then to give us some feedback on these coilovers and see how we get on when you come back next time.